Good morning, children. I am Mrs. Nahi Juveria, taking physical science for class 10th. We are into the 6th session of Unit 9, Electric Current. In our previous session, we had seen Kirchhoff's laws. One of Kirchhoff's laws is the Loop's law, which states that the algebraic sum of the increases and decreases in potential difference across various components of the circuit in a closed circuit loop must be equal to 0. And Loop's law, as you all know, is based on conservation of energy. Before moving on to this problem, children, I would just like to brush up that EMF of the battery is taken as negative when we move from positive terminal to negative terminal, and it is taken as positive when we move across the battery from negative terminal to positive terminal. Like here you are seeing across V1, right? Across V1, the EMF is taken as positive. Why? Because we are moving across the battery from negative terminal to positive terminal. Whereas across V2, we are seeing that it is taken as negative. Why? Because we are moving from positive terminal to negative terminal, right? Okay. And the other sign conventions which we follow in Loop's law is the potential difference across the resistor is taken as negative when we move along the direction of electric current through the resistor, and it is taken as positive when we move against the direction of electric current through the resistor. Now if you all just check out through R2, the potential difference across R2 is taken as positive because we are moving against the direction of electric current over here, whereas here, that is across R1, it is taken as negative. Why? Because we are moving along the direction of electric current. Okay, children. So for this particular loop, A, C, D, B, A, okay, V2 is negative and I1 R1, the EMF across the resistor R1 is negative, whereas the EMF at V2, this is positive, and also I2 R2, this EMF across the resistor R2 is positive. So the sum of all the EMFs in a closed loop must be equal to 0. So we can write minus V2 plus I2 R2 minus R1, I1 R1 sorry, plus V1 equal to 0. Similarly, for the loop E, F, D, C, E, for the lower loop, children, okay, we can write here the current through R3. Here current through R1 is I1, current through R2 is I2, and the current through R3 is I1 plus I2. Therefore, the EMF across R3 we can write as minus of I1 plus I2 into R3. Okay, and the EMF across R2 is taken as minus I2 R2. In our previous loop, we were going in the opposite direction compared to this. Okay, so that is why here in this loop we had I2 R2. EMF across R2 was I2 R2, whereas in this particular loop we have the EMF across R2 as minus I2 R2, okay, and plus V2 equal to 0. Now for this whole loop, that is E, F, B, E, F, B, A and E, we can write as minus I1 plus I2 into R3 minus I1 R1 plus V1 equal to 0. Okay, children, I hope this is clear for you all. Just go through again, you'll definitely understand it. Now coming to electric power. Electric power is defined as the product of potential difference, okay, and current. So just consider a conductor of resistance R, capital R. Let its resistance be capital R. The flow of, that is the electric force, is from A to B, the direction of electric force. Okay, so we are considering a conductor of resistance R through which an electric current, let that electric current be represented by the letter I, passes. When we are considering a charge of Q coulombs, let the charge be of Q coulombs, it is passing through a point A and moves to B in a time interval, say t seconds. For any action to be carried on, definitely we should consider time factor. So the charge is moving from A to B in time t seconds. Now if V is the potential difference between the points, that is A and B, between across these 2 points, if V is the potential difference, then the work done by the electric field in time t is given by W is equal to Q into V, that is charge into potential difference. Okay, now what we are doing, in your previous classes we had learned that electric power is rate of change of work. So we are dividing both these LHS and RHS by time factor. So W by T is equal to QV by T. Clear, children? So when we are writing like this, W by T is nothing but power, which is represented by the letter capital P, and Q into V. What is Q? We know what is, in terms of, if we write current, we can write it as I into T. So when we substitute IV, I is equal to Q by T. So Q is equal to I into T. So this T and this T gets cancelled and we are left out with I into V or V into I. So P is equal to the product of potential difference and current. This is one way of expressing power. Now another way of expressing power, from Ohm's law we know V is equal to IR. Okay, the potential difference across any 2 points is directly proportional to the current flowing through the conductor. This is your Ohm's law. The mathematical representation of Ohm's law is V is equal to IR. So now when we substitute in place of V IR, we get P is equal to I square R. Okay, children. When we are substituting in place of V IR, we get P is equal to I square R. Or if we are substituting, just see, in place of I, if we substitute, what are we substituting? V by R. Now V by R, if I substitute in place of I, but here in place of I square, we'll be substituting V square by R. So V square by R square. So that square and this R gets cancelled and we are left out with V square by R. So children, depending on what has been asked in the question, we are going to use the formula. If at all they have given what potential difference and current and asked you to find power, use this formula. Or current is given and resistance is given, use this formula. Or potential difference and resistance is given, power is to be found out, use this formula. So depending on what is asked in the question, you are going to use the formula. Now, the SI unit of power is watt. Since watt is a small unit of power, a bigger unit, that is kilowatt hour, is generally used to express power consumption. 1 kilo you would have learned in your previous classes that multiple of 10, that is if we consider 10 to the power of 3, it is 1 kilo. So 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 10 to the power of 3 watt, that is 1000 watts. And we know what is 1 watt equal to? 1 watt is equal to 1 joule per 1 second. How are we getting this? We know rate of change of work is power, right? So work done by time. Work done unit is joule and time unit is second. So we'll be writing joule per second as watt. So 1000 watt is equal to 1000 joule per second. The unit of electric power consumption is equal to 1 kilowatt hour. So 1 kilowatt hour, if we are going to express in joules, how much are we going to get it? So we'll just check out how is that possible. So 1 kilowatt is nothing but 1000 joule per second. And hour also we are going to convert into seconds so that we can multiply these two. Whenever we are doing such things, all should be in the same system. That is, this is in seconds, whereas hour we can't multiply. So even hour has to be converted into seconds. So 1 hour is equal to 60 seconds, 60 minutes, sorry. and each minute is equal to 60 seconds. So 60 into 60 seconds, 1 hour will be equal to, which is equal to 3600 seconds. So 3600 into 1000 joules will give you, when you just, this is under expansion. When we write in the powers of 10, we write it as 3.6 into 10 to the power of 6 joules. Okay. Now coming to the assignment, define power. What is the SI unit of power? Second question, what is the value of 1 kilowatt hour in joules? And the third question, state Loops law. Thank you.